Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the collective for today. Today is, why did I want to say Thursday? Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. You may follow me on the Talk the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. We don't want you taking on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're going to use The Price of Love Oracle by Crystal Banner. I just finished the Tarot Collective. I just uploaded it. And that was a love reading. If ever there was a love reading, that was a love reading. But we're going to do it again. Let's see what falls out here. We got 2 on the table. I just thought of something personal, and then I heard sometimes the simplest gesture should be the most recognized. We got 3 on the table, 4 on the table, 6 on the table, 'We're going to do 2 more shuffles. The number 7 might be significant. And I only say that because there are 7 cards. And I literally thought, like, oh, it's going to end here at 6 cards. And then I'm like, no, wait, bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck. Yep. I'm going to set this over here on the box on the windowsill. You can find this deck of cards at kaleidodope.com. Crystal Banner also, I believe, has a shop on Etsy. Okay. I have ordered from both, actually. And sometimes she does discounts, so you should always go and look and see. Especially on her website, I think. We've got ego. We've got connection. We've got unfinished business. We've got surrender. We've got divine timing. We've got soulmate recognition. And bottom of the deck, fate. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. It doesn't matter. If you have time, go and watch the tarot reading for the day. It's, I think, like 35, 36 minutes long, something like that. If you have time, go watch it. This is like the same story, y'all. If you watched my affirmations this morning, July 30th is significant. Something is happening today. Whether you actually see something happen today, something is happening today. And I was getting that from another reader for weeks, months. She's been talking about it. She's one of my favorite readers. Someone was in their ego in a connection. There's unfinished business there. I don't think that this person in their ego is going to surrender. I think two people are going to surrender to this connection in divine timing. There's some kind of soulmate recognition there. What do I always say? There are no coincidences, only fate. There are no chances, only destiny. I'm probably going to label that the title of this reading. I'm not even going to lie. This is like the same reading from the tarot. Basically. It gives a little bit of a different energy, more like definitely somebody like going within and looking at themselves and realizing, okay, maybe maybe I put a little too much emphasis on me and what I want and what I'm looking for. Maybe I didn't recognize the other person, their wants, their needs, what they're looking for. Maybe I didn't realize a good thing when I saw it. Like I was too much in my ego. I was too much like, oh, I'm better than them. I'm better than this. I deserve more. I deserve this. What is more? What is this? What is abundance to you? Who is abundant to you? Right? And the other reading, the tarot reading, gave like a past energy. So whether that's recent past, whether that's past, it's like somebody waking up and coming back around. And I know that we talk a lot about, and I touched on this a little bit in the tarot, but I didn't go too deep into it. So I'm going to say something here. I know we talk about not taking people back from your past, but we also talk about using your tuition, going by your gut feeling. And if somebody from your past comes around and tells you they want back in your life, they want a relationship with you, and you immediately feel like cautious, like this, like a sense of ick, then no, don't do that. But if somebody comes back from your past and you guys talk and you feel like love and light for this person and joy and happiness because you get to talk to them again, and they tell you, I think you're the one, like, let's get in a relationship, get in that fucking relationship. Don't let that pass you by. If you feel nothing but good vibes from that interaction, do it. I know. We always say we don't want the past, we don't take the past back. But you really, and don't get me wrong, like that's the standard to go by because most people from your past aren't going to be genuine, right? But when you get to a certain point in this wonderful journey we call life, you should know the difference. You should know when you think someone is good for you and when you think someone is bad for you. And I think we don't also talk about how people can change, right? Like we change, like I change, right? I grow, I have epiphanies every day, I manifest every day. I heal myself every day, right? So someone from your past that was a shithead, a dirtbag, you're telling me like 5, 10 years later, months, 5, 10 months later, 5, 10 years later, they can't have grown. They can't have healed. They're healing themselves. They're changing. Their mentality is different. They got clarity. You're saying that can't happen? It happened to me. Epiphany moment, right? Again, it's a good standard to say I don't want the past because a lot of your past is shit. You live through the shit, you don't want it back. I get it. But if somebody comes back and you feel that connection, you feel like this is right, you feel like you have to go with your intuition, you have to go with your gut. Whatever this is, it's in divine timing. No one would have any control over that. because really whoever this person is they need to work on themselves first. They need to go deep within. They need to really think about their actions, their inactions, their accountability, like what they're what they're doing, where they're putting their energy, where they don't want to put their energy, who they want to put energy into, who they don't want to put energy into. If this is someone that needs to wake up, people wake up in their own time. But I'm telling you, this person is going to realize like someone was a soul connection. Like that was, look at the little heart, y'all. It reminds me of like a heartbeat line on a monitor, but it's a heart. It also reminds me of like string that cats play with, and then they like make little shapes when they like toss it around and throw it on the floor. I just had to say that. And I really think when this person comes back around to this person, two people are going to surrender to this connection. It was always meant to be. And I said this in the tarot reading. We don't know how much time we have here, right? Or some don't. Most of us don't. Some do. I do, but well, sort of, kind of. You're not going to take the chance. Like somebody comes back into your world and you feel nothing but joy at seeing them, and you're not going to take that chance. Like there are literally people out there. If I was sitting at a table in a room and certain people came up to that table and pulled out the chair and sat down and I looked up at them, I would frown and be like, what the fuck do you want? There are other people in my life, if they pulled out that chair and they sat down, I would look exactly like this. I love you. And thank you for finally coming to the table. Whatever happens after that, like seriously, that's what I would be thinking in my head. For certain people, right? Past, present. And it really gives up the energy. And I said this in the tarot collective, the tarot reading, like somebody realizing like they fucked up something, like they left something unfinished, they left it undone. Now, I said this in the tarot reading, I'm going to say it in this reading too, because tarot is a little bit subjective. When I did the tarot reading, I got the Two of Cups and I got the Lovers, which to me means it's a lover situation. However, you can look at those cards and you can be like, oh, that's career. That's some type of situation with, like a community, a friend, a family member. A soulmate doesn't necessarily have to be a lover, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be a good friend, like you coming back into connection with a good friend, a family member, a loved one, even a pet, right? But I'm not gonna lie, like it really does just give off some type of lover's connection. It really does. Take how it resonates for you, I would say. But yeah, if you have the time, go back and watch the tarot reading because it's very, very similar. It's a little bit nicer with the oracle cards because you can get the same message in less cards, because tarot doesn't have a divine timing card. Tarot doesn't have, I mean, they do have a card, you could say it's fate or whatever, but like you have to read it into the cards. I'm not going to lie too, with the ego energy there, it also kind of gives the energy of like Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. It gives the energy of someone like putting their ass on the line. And I've said this before. I said this in reference to myself, so I'm gonna say it. Like someone putting their ass on the line and, like putting their feelings out there and saying what they have to say, and somebody else was in their ego and they're like, "Oh, you love me or you like me or you want to be with me." Oh, that's great, but yeah, like I don't know. Like I like to play the field. I like to be single. I'm not going to give you an answer. Like somebody very much in and of themselves and afraid to go within, afraid to dig deep, afraid of what they're going to see when they do that. If you have a person that has only ever been in superficial connections, and I talked about superficiality in the tarot reading. If you have somebody that's only ever been in like superficial connections, beauty, lust, money, like all those connections were based on that, and somebody is realizing they're connected to you, but you're not really those things. You don't give a fuck about money. You may not be the prettiest guy or girl out there. You do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever you do it, and you don't give a shit who watches and who doesn't watch, right? You just live your life for you. You do what you do. And somebody realizes, isn't that the greatest person of all? Somebody that's their own fucking person, somebody that can't be molded, somebody that can't be swayed, somebody that has their own opinions, their own thoughts, their own ideas. Somebody knows who they are, where they're going. Superficial energies will always deviate, will always be swayed, will always be manipulated because they're superficial. You know, it's just like it's the old tale of the gold digger, right? A masculine gets involved with a feminine and they're a gold digger. Like all they care about is how much money this masculine has, how sexy they are, how tall they are, how they dress, how many gifts they give them, how much money they pay their rent. Like, do you buy my nails every month? Like that energy, it's very manipulative. It's very ego driven. This is somebody that like used to be like that and they're like waking up and realizing maybe the best package isn't the prettiest package. Maybe the best package is the package you have to work the hardest for. It's not about conquering either. It's about accepting, right? Accepting people and situations for who they are, taking everything at face value, realizing there's love where you never thought you were going to love somebody or something. Yeah. I talked a lot about patterns in the tarot reading. People, just an example, like a hetero masculine, they always go for the skinny, blonde girl that, dresses to impress. Maybe they fall in love with the plump brunette that, wears whatever the fuck they want. Doesn't give a shit whether you want them to dress like impress. I'm wearing this, mofo. Yeah. Go watch the tarot reading if you have time. It already posted. I know it posted. I went back and I looked. So very much the same energy. And it definitely, like, it would make sense. Like, if this had come out in the tarot reading. I wasn't really, I mean, I didn't really say anything about ego, but it definitely could correlate. Like, it definitely gives the same vibe. And it definitely makes more sense, too. Yeah, and I just keep hearing that too, like somebody thinking like I deserve this, I deserve better, I deserve more, but then kind of waking up and realizing like what does that even mean? Like like and I talked about this in the tarot reading too. Like I gave an example of like a third party situation. Like somebody stuck between two people and looking at these two individuals and kind of realizing like which one is really more. Like are you going to see that on the outside? Like and I gave a hetero example, a masculine looking at two feminines and one is really pretty and sexy and whatever and one is, doing their thing. They are who they are. Maybe they're not as pretty on the outside, but aren't they pretty on the inside? And kind of realizing which one do you feel that connection with? Because you can be in your ego all you want and you could be handsome and sexy and have money and have prestige, fame, whatever. And you can literally fall for the waitress at the Waffle House. You're not going to you're not going to go after that connection because they're a waitress at the Waffle House. You're going to go back to your starlets and your honey buns because that's easy, right? Sometimes superficiality, we choose that because it's easy. Even though, whoever this is, they probably could have gotten with that Waffle House waitress and lived the best fucking life they could have ever lived. But they wouldn't know that because they're in their ego, right? It's just an example. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because 23 minutes in. The tarot video was, like I said, I think 35, 36 minutes. Go watch it if you have time. Um, very much the same energy. July 30th, people. Something's happening today. Something's happening. I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope, if anything, you were entertained. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.